Hi everyone, my name is Lauren and this is Lauren's Library. Today we'll be going over my top rated books for the year of 2023. This year these are all of the 5 stars. All the books that I'm mentioning today are all of the 5 stars that I read this year. I only have 8 books this year. I think last year I had 10 or 11. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm looking at these books and I'm like, I can't believe that I read them this year. That feels like I read them like a year ago maybe. Some of these feel like they're from 22 to 22. But they're not in any like from least to most favorite read of the year. I'm just having them in order of when I read them. So we'll be starting from the beginning of the year to the end, towards the end. The first book I gave 5 stars for this year was Charming as a Verb by Ben Philippe. This follows Henry, who is a very smart kid. He goes to a very prestigious private school, and he's on track to applying to his dream school, Columbia University. But in his senior year, he becomes friends with this girl named Corinne, who is wanting to, she's also in her senior year, and she's come to the realization that she hasn't really made any close friendships in high school because she's been kind of a standoff person. And contrary to, she's very Henry, who has been a very people person, who knows everybody, he gets along with everyone, and so they create this friendship where he's helping her to become more sociable among their peers in high school before they graduate. There's also conflict due to a decision that Henry has the decision to make, will he or won't he, because Corinne's mom is a professor. I think she's a professor at Columbia University, and so he doesn't want to ruin their friendship by requesting something that will help him get into his dream school, but may also jeopardize his relationship with Corinne. But I really enjoyed this. It was actually very charming. I know the title is Charming as a Verb, but I just love both of these characters, Henry and Corinne, and I would read a book about them from in college, graduate school, whatever endeavors they face in their lives after this book. I would gladly read it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. My first 5 out of 5 stars for 2023. The next book I gave 5 stars was Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This follows a girl. She's a girl when we first meet her, Constanta. She is, when we are introduced to her, she's dying in the middle of her village after a raid, and she ends up being rescued by a mysterious figure who, using context clues, you get that he is a vampire. And he turned her into a vampire and takes her to his castle up in the mountains, secluded somewhere. And we just follow her life with this vampire, who we don't get a name for him because the story is kind of about the toxicity of their relationship and how other characters are introduced, and how Constanta comes to realize how toxic their relationship is by seeing him interact with other people along the hundreds of centuries, the centuries and centuries that they spend time together. And it was very, I wouldn't say it was sad, but it just felt very like sorrowful that this I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't sad, but it was just very, I don't know the word, but it was just because you see the toxicity before she sees it, and you see her grow and realizes that the relationship that she has with this man isn't okay, and the relationship he has with the other people that they bring into their kind of world, how it isn't okay. And that's when you see her kind of realize and gain self-confidence in herself and a plan on how she wants to get those that she's come to care about by being a new vampire. Well, she's not new. when this happens, and how she reacts to them being treated poorly as well. And I just don't have the words to say how exactly it made me feel, but it wasn't sad. Melancholy may be the right word for it. But yes, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And it's a very beautiful book. This is a book I read for my Judge a Book by Its Cover series that I have going on my channel. So there was a reading vlog for that if you want to check that out. I received this from Fairy Loot, and it's just a really beautiful edition. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope. Yeah, Leslie Penelope. I don't know why I just thought I said her name wrong. But this follows a character in DC named Clara Johnson. And she has the ability to speak to spirits that grant abilities. People come to her and they say, I need this problem solved. Can you talk to the spirit realm to see if they can get any answers? Well, one day she receives a visitor where her son, this character's son, has been missing, and along the investigation of her trying to figure out where this young boy has gone or why he started acting weirdly before he disappeared, she finds out that more and more people have gone missing, and more of those people were also acting strangely before they disappeared. And so it becomes a mystery that she gathers a gang of friends to help her solve, who also have their own different abilities, and we get to know those characters while also getting to know Clara's character, because when we meet her, she's kind of standoffish and only trusts few people and far between. And we get to know more of her backstory and also who the author based her character on. So if you're curious about that, I would highly recommend you pick Monsters We Defy up. Alright, 5 out of 5 stars. The next book is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I'm so surprised I didn't pick this up sooner, because usually I read Elizabeth Acevedo's books as soon as I acquire them because they're all very quick to read. But this one follows Camino and Yahaira, who, when we were introduced to them, they don't know the other exists, but they have one thing in common: they have the same father. Their father, Camino, I think, is the one that lives in New York, while Yahaira lives in the Dominican Republic. And their dad has had this secret family that has been keeping their separate family secret for all of these years, and the truth only comes out when he passes away in a plane crash while he's flying back to the Dominican Republic to visit Yahaira's family, or Yahaira. And so we get to see their relationship kind of be hesitant, getting to know each other, because this big secret has been revealed that they haven't known each other their entire life. They have had this half-sister or a sister their entire life that their father has been keeping a secret, and how they're dealing with those emotions while also dealing with the fact that he's no longer here to explain to them why he chose to make this decision. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. Tears, beautiful, sisterhood. It was great. 5 out of 5. The next book I read that I gave 5 stars was His Only Wife by Peace Adzo Madi, and this follows a young girl named Afi, and in Ghana. We're in Ghana in this book, and when this book starts, she's getting married. And the difference than probably the weddings we're used to seeing in the limelight is the difference is that her betrothed, or her soon-to-be husband, isn't present. So she's getting married with like a stand-in of his family, and is promised that she'll soon meet him soon. He's on vacation doing business somewhere. And so after she marries him, his family moves her into a condo, and I forget what city. Is it on here? Oh, Accra. In Accra. He moves her. Yeah. Well, his family moves her there. And so while she's getting prepared for this wedding, you know, there's always a lot of, when a wedding's about to take place, there's always a lot of conversations and gossip about a messy wedding like this where the husband isn't even present. And so she hears bits and pieces from her mother and her cousins and his side of the family, where he has a girlfriend, or I don't know if they even called her that. It was very ambiguous, that they don't approve of, and they're forcing him to marry our main character Afi in order for him to let this other woman go that they don't approve of. So she moves to Accra and to this condo, and she's wondering, she still hasn't met him. He's supposed to be here in Accra, and he's supposed to be coming to meet her, and he doesn't show up, I think, for like a couple of months until he finally does. And so her duty, or her job told by her, she's been asked to do by her mother-in-law and her mother, who works for her mother-in-law, is that you have to make him leave this woman that we do not like. She's horrid. She doesn't love him. She's ugly. They're just saying these horrible things about this woman. So when she finally does meet her husband, she's doing everything she's been taught as a woman to do. She's making him meals, making sure their home is clean, not asking too many questions, and making sure that he's comfortable and she's doing what she's been told to do. And eventually she's fed up with it because he leaves, and then he leaves and goes as he wishes, and she doesn't really know anything but what she's being told by outsiders, by his sister, or his I think it's his brother's girlfriend, like, who's like her neighbor or something. It was just a lot of mess. Like, we don't know. Can you call her an unreliable narrator? Because we know very limited information, just as much as her, and the information she's being told, we don't know if it's true or not. And so eventually she's fed up, and she believes that, I feel like I'm telling the book now. All right, just if you want to know, if you want to know more, pick this book up. It's very short, as you can see. It was very interesting because, along with Afi, as you're like wondering what is going on with this man, what's going on with his family, what's going on with my family, and my position in acquiring wealth, because his family is very wealthy, and she's very like unstable in this relationship and in this family, because they want her to do things that she really doesn't have the control. She can't control this man's emotions, and so it's just very like panicky, and you're like, what is going on? But if you want to know exactly what's going on, pick up the book. It was very good. 5 out of 5 stars. His Only Wife. I feel like I just went on a tangent with that book, y'all. That book was messy. Like, I really enjoyed that one. But my next 5 stars for the 2023 year was Wash Day Diaries by Jamila Rouser and Robin Smith. Y'all, I finally picked up Wash Day Diaries. If you do not know, Wash Day Diaries was a very, very popular graphic novel in 2022, I want to say. Let me see. Yeah, 2022. And I finally picked it up this year, and I wish I would have picked it up sooner. So this book follows these 4 friends. Each chapter or section follows one character, and we get a little backstory on who they are while they're dealing with their hair. On wash day, while they're braiding their hair, getting a wig installed at the beauty salon, while a friend is coming over to braid their hair, when they're unable to take care of their own hair due to mental health. It was just so good. A story being told through hair routines was a genius idea, and it was so entertaining, and I want more. Like, we need a volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 volumes at least. Please, somebody at what publishing company is at Chronicle Books, get them in the workroom. Miss Jamila Rouser and Miss Robin Smith, get on it. We need more volumes of Wash Day. It was so good. I enjoyed it so much. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read that was a 5 out of 5 stars is actually a manga, and it was The Promised Neverland by story by Kayu Shirai, and art by Pasuka Demizu. And this follows a group of children who are in this orphanage kind of place where they have to take tests and they go outside and play at a certain time of day. They do their chores, yada yada yada. Like a normal orphanage, except when kids get adopted, they're unsure of where they're assuming that they're going to a family, a happy family. They're actually being fed to these monster things that we're not sure. This is only volume 1. I only read volume 1 this year. But yes, so the three older kids, they're kind of geniuses and they're worth more, I believe, if I am remembering correctly. And so they're in the makings of this manga, in the volume 1, they're trying to make a plan in order to get all these kids out of this orphanage. And they've come to realize also that the woman that they see as their mother figure, their mom, is not to be trusted. So it was a very fun, twisty-turny, turvy book where you don't really know what's going on. So I need to pick up the other volumes in order to see what else is going to happen in this one. But it was a really fun start. If you don't know, I have a very strange relationship with manga. It's very hard for me to get into one. So this was definitely a strong start for a manga. Promised Neverland. And the final book that I gave 5 out of 5 stars in 2023 is Before I Let Go by Miss Kennedy Ryan. Y'all, this book was, I don't know if it's because it's the most fresh on my brain, but this book follows, let me just give you a synopsis. This book follows Yasmin and Josiah. Yes, Yasmin and Josiah, who have recently divorced. Well, they've been divorced 2 years, I think, when the book starts off. Okay, so they have 2 children, and they also run a restaurant together. So everything's been going smoothly since their divorce. They haven't ran into any issues per se, until Josiah starts dating the head chef at their restaurant, where things start to get a little rocky. And that's when old emotions start building up as to why their relationship started to deteriorate, and what ultimately led to their divorce. It was very emotional, very sad, because in the mix of all of this, their own emotions, there are also 2 children who don't have all the answers as well, and because everybody has their own version of the story as to why things fell apart the way that they did. And even the children, it was very hard to see, and it was very hard for these characters to deal with those emotions and to deal with the emotions of the character that they have to work with, live with, raise, be parented by. And it was just so good. And we just get to see them reconcile with those emotions. And 5 out of 5 stars. It was the first Kennedy Ryan book I read, and I read 2 more after this one. I also did a vlog on reading 3 of Kennedy Ryan's books. Well, it really wasn't a vlog. It was more of like a sit-down talky-talk video. But this one still remains my favorite. It's the first and still standing tall. 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good, so emotional, so emotionally intelligent. Yeah, so I highly recommend this one, as well as all these other 7 books that I discussed today. Alright, so those were the 8 books that I gave 5 stars this year. What was your favorite book? If you had to give me one book that you would say was your all-time favorite for this year, let me know down in the comments below. I don't know. I know that's a hard task because I can't do the same. I couldn't choose which out of these 8 would be my ultimate favorite, because they all gave me different emotions, different feelings. So I can't choose a favorite. So if you can, kudos to you. You get a cookie. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next time or next year if you only came here for my best of 2023. But I'll see y'all. Bye bye.